Bump, 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 bump,
And
bump.
action.
And action, yes. Well stated, because this is the videographer soon to be famous here. This is Alex Garrett.
Hope so.
Oh my gosh, yes. Alex is the amazing videographer who did Devil Meets Angel for Junior Cruise. Those of you who have seen that. And yeah, Alex is also available pretty soon or something, like,
Yeah, I think I'll be back in Salt Lake this summer to make some projects, hopefully. Depends on if I end up doing a, like, work exchange program, but that seems unlikely at this point. So.
Okay, but because you've been up in Canada,
Yeah,
at school, yeah, and how's that been going?
it's been really fun, honestly. I'm doing computer science up there at the University of Victoria,
Yeah,
and I found a really good group of people there to hang out with and make movies on the side, and I don't know, just have fun. So
well, that's pretty awesome. And so, how are you enjoying being back in Salt Lake for Christmas? How long are you here for?
well, I got here on the 22nd of December, and I leave on the 8th, so
Okay.
not the most amount of time, but I love coming back to Salt Lake, obviously. This is where I grow up.
This is where you
This is
grow
where my
up,
closest friends are. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, there's something special about Salt Lake, and it's not just like the environment. I feel like for me it's really the people and the experiences that can be had here, because I've been to other places. It's not like Salt Lake. I don't know. There's something unique about it. There's something special in like the intensity of the lifestyle that exists here.
And you have been great friends with our good friend Charles for a long time.
Yeah,
Right?
since fifth grade.
Yes, because I have an interview with him up on the channel. Oh, since fifth grade?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I didn't know it went that far back.
Salt Lake
That's-
Arts Academy.
Salt Lake Arts Academy.
That's what got me on the video stuff.
So, do they cover all kinds of arts? Like, is that what got him on the music and stuff, or what?
I think he was playing guitar a while before that, but I don't know. I think it probably played a pretty significant role in his coming to. Because I know that Judson was the music teacher there. And Judson,
Okay.
shout out Judson. Judson's an amazing guy.
Judson,
Great
go
music
Judson,
teacher.
Let's go.
I think Judson probably played a pretty significant role in Quinn and Charles's music ascension.
And now they're in the band Soap, which just had a
The
concert
best
tonight
band ever of
at
all
Kilby
time.
Court, absolutely. And they killed it at Kilby Court, absolutely. And then Junior Cruz, who we just mentioned, he opened up, and Nick's also opened up. And Tony Asic was going to, but he wasn't able to make it tonight. But he was going to be there. That would have been awesome also. The music video you did also features Tony.
Yes.
He's pretty prominent in that. And I could see him getting like really big too.
Totally.
Because-
He already is, honestly. Like,
yeah, I remember you posted on Snapchat, like when you first met him. You posted a little thing saying like, "In the presence of a prodigy."
yeah. Well, because he was just he was like rapping to this song, and it was such an interesting experience because I just like he was casually rapping to this song that he'd created while we were just in the car chilling, and I started filming him, and he just like gave me like the like the priority experience of having Tony rap for you, and I thought it was hilarious and like awesome.
I can say, okay, I know a lot of rappers and freestylers, and when I met Tony, I'd have to say, like, he can freestyle on demand better than anyone else I know. Like, he's, you just say, like, when I was going to do that tonight, because every time that he has a concert, I always have him freestyle for me on Snapchat, and I post it, and it's always just like some amazing epic thing. It's just like,
I can attest to that. Yeah, he's really good at rapping. Like,
and I mean, and writing is also a great talent to have, and Junior's more along the lines of, I mean, they're both really good at it, but I mean, Junior specializes in like, just like writing on demand, and he helps other people with their lyrics and stuff too. They'll come to him, ask him like, "Hey, will you look at this?" And he'll, shoot it back to them with like, much improved lyrics and stuff. And they're both brilliant lyricists, and they both write. And when it comes to freestyling, though, ASIC is the best that I know. The best that I know. What
That's
was it
so
like?
fair.
What was it like making that video?
it was honestly
beginning
like
to
a
end.
blast. Like, I don't know. So I don't have like an absurd amount of video experience. I've made, I think it was like 3 videos with Charles, and that was kind of like my introduction to it, and it was just fun because like Charles is my friend, and like we were working together. He wasn't paying me, so I could kind of just like do whatever the fuck I wanted. And so when I got the offer from Junior, which was felicitated by Ryan himself.
Hey, shout out to me.
I was like, yo, I want to work professionally. I want to make this, this video thing like a thing of my life. And I was going into it. I was worried that he would be very controlling about his creative vision, because I'd worked with one other rap artist before. The first music video I ever made was for a rapper. Shout out, I Woke Up Too Late. Your music's great, but you didn't give me the creative control that I wanted, and I felt suffocated. I didn't like that. And so going into that project, I was worried about that, and it turns out that Junior was just like, dude, just be you. Make whatever you want and just make it good. And I don't know, I loved that. Like, I think, in my opinion, it allowed the video to be the best it could have been. I mean, obviously, because I made it, but...
Yes, yeah.
I don't know, like he gave me the creative freedom that I wanted, and even beyond that, like working with them was a blast, just because they're fun people. Like they're really fun to hang out with. They're easy to work with. I'd be like, hey Junior, can you do this? He'd be like, yes, of course. Every scenario is like that. Every time I was like, Junior, what if we did this? He was like, bro, I am so down. Let's make it happen.
Okay, now I have to.
Cameo time!
Oh my gosh! Oh, it's Charles! Woo!
Have some juice.
Hey, how's it
This is
going,
Henry.
Henry? How are you doing, Charles?
We're good.
We actually were just talking about you.
What are you talking about
we
me?
were just talking about how he's known you since 5th grade.
How you're the greatest person ever to be created on
Well,
Yes.
I wouldn't go that far, but
Well, we would. So tough. Yep. How's it going, man?
What up?
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Oh, by the way, we didn't even mention that this is freaking New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
When we're filming this. I don't know when this will be posted, probably like a day or two from now or something like that. So it'll be posted in 2023. But this is, we're going to be welcoming in the new year here pretty
We can
soon.
establish that as my handicap for this interview.
we were just talking about like Junior and the music video they made and all that stuff. And you went out to Heber to make that, right?
Yeah, we filmed a bit in Salt Lake. We filmed a bit in Park City. Like the last scene was on Main Street in Park City, which you guys should know if you're from Salt Lake City. And we filmed the part with the road scene where I made the sky look turquoise. That was in Heber. I think that might have been the only shot in Heber. Oh, and the mirror shot. The shot where it's like the mirror of him like right ways up and then it goes up to him rapping upside down. That was in the same place as the road shot.
Okay.
Can I interrupt one more time? I'm gonna go, but you know how like there's that one religion, I forgot which one, but they believe you have like 69 virgins when you die if you go to heaven.
Is that Islam?
Something like that. But I believe that the people who go to heaven are the ones who make the most cameos in Ryan Larson.
You're
that was
definitely
a
up there. I
fire
think. I mean, you've got a couple now, right?
At least two. I'm working up there.
All right.
Two's a lot in the world of Ryan Larson cameos. Like usually the most people in the world only have 0. So
Well,
I'm doing pretty good.
actually, yeah, most people in the world. That is an actual factual
A
statement.
Ryan Larson cameo is a true miracle. It's a rarity. If you can get it more than one time, then consider yourself lucky.
Now, Junior, I think, has 3 cameos now.
Oh.
And that's not even including his own interview. So you're gonna have to.
We'll have like an arm wrestling match on the gates of hell.
You're gonna have to make sure to like yes.
I don't know. All right. Yeah. See ya.
All right, thanks guys. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
All right, thank God they're gone. Oh my
Yeah, we told them we were just talking about them. Little do they know we were
Jesus
talking trash.
Christ, like-
No, I'm just kidding. Okay, what I was going to ask you though was, in the video, how did you do the part where you're, there's all those cars, the line of cars and stuff. Like, I think most people that have watched that have wondered, like, because that's pretty amazing. Like, it seems he's sticking his whole body out the window, right? And was there actually a line of cars behind him, just like everyone pissed off or something? Or
No,
what?
I CGI'd all those cars. They were
Did
fake.
you really?
No.
No.
No, that's a good question. That's hilarious because so we were filming. I think it was Big Conwood. No, either big or little. I think it was big.
Okay.
But they had a road under construction,
Mm-hmm.
and so like they do the thing where only one lane can go through at one time, and they have like the stoplight and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so we pulled up on this road and they're like, okay, well, let's start filming. The road is empty. This is perfect. We can go as slow as we want, right? And so because I wanted the shot to be as smooth as possible, I was like, I had Thierry, which is a good friend of mine. He was driving my parents' 4Runner. And you know how like the 4Runners, you can like roll down the back window? So I was just like chilling in the back of the 4Runner, like holding my camera out of that window, filming Junior. And so on the first take, the road was empty. But I don't know, we fucked something up. I probably just wanted another take because I'm a stickler.
Which is good.
We ended up looping back on that same part of the road, I think, and when we started filming, a line of cars just started coming up because they'd been piled up beforehand. And so we're going 20 miles an hour, matching that speed exactly. And on this 40-mile-an-hour road, all these cars are like, what the fuck? And so you can't, the video actually cuts right before, but if I would have kept that clip going, there's actually a shot of a motorcycler driving by, flipping him off, being like, what the hell? And it wasn't just one motorcycle, actually. I think it was like 3 or 4 that just like came around and were like, what the hell are you guys doing holding up traffic? But like, honestly, I have no regrets. That was so worth it. Like, fuck them.
Man. Yeah, I mean, it's just a couple minutes, right? So, I mean, unless, of course, there was like a pregnant woman going through labor.
There's a huge hospital up there. We all know. Like.
Right. That's so awesome, man. See, I never would have known that. But then,
honestly, like the line of cars ended up contributing to it because it adds like such a level of diversity to the frame, and I ended up playing a lot with the glowing of lights. I applied a Gaussian blur to the frame and did like a screen overlay, so it would only like apply to the highlights, and so it just makes all of the lights in the cars kind of like glow in a circular way, and I think that just kind of makes it more interesting to look at. So I think it ended up helping at the end of the day.
Yeah, and then pretty soon you like transfer over in the video to like glowing objects, like as almost like a theme for
well, because I did that transition where they were we were on that one parking garage by the Walker Center, and they were trading the joint and the cig, and I like panned to that one other like blue light thing, and I used the glowing light thing to transition into the drone shot that I totally got legitimately because I have a drone. Totally. But yeah.
In fact, you were sitting on top of the drone, right? Like
it was like a helicopter.
Special drone with a steering wheel.
Yeah.
And you were just like up there with your own oxygen, of course.
Yeah, I mean, like, how could I even like get something like that off the internet? Like, that'd be totally impossible. Like, I had to do it myself. Like.
There is a lot of stock footage out there, so you know.
Yeah. YouTube will never know because I figured out how to beat their AI detection. I don't even know if it's AI, but I figured out how to beat their detection on that stuff. So they'll never know.
and just for the record, since this is going up on YouTube, that is only a joke, right?
Sorry,
that's
that it was
strictly for entertainment. It
was only an experiment.
Yes, that was just experimental. Okay, so now your parents are both like professors, right?
No. So my dad is a professor. My mom is a neuropsychologist, and she works for Intermountain and Rocky Mountain something. I should know. I'm a bad son. But
I keep like when I pull this back, it's because like you do hand gestures, you know, because they say like 90% of communication is nonverbal, right?
I get that from my dad.
That's a good thing though. That's a good thing. That's for sure, like a good thing. But if I pull back, is it like to make sure that I'm getting your hand?
Okay.
Because it's communicating things too, man. We don't want to like discriminate against the hand, right?
Right.
We got to get that involved.
Yeah.
Okay, so but you come from like a pretty academic family.
Yeah.
And you even spent some time overseas, and like, was it an exchange program, or do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so I don't know if you guys are familiar with how professors are allowed sabbaticals every 7 years. You know, Sabbath 7 sabbatical.
Oh, hey.
They get to basically take a break from teaching and do research. And so a lot of people, they stay where they are. They just research with their homies. But my dad was like, what if we just went to Lille, which is a city in the north of France, pretty close to Belgium. And so when I was 5 years old, me and my 2-year-old brother and my mom and my dad, we all went there.
Mm-hmm.
He put me into a school where I don't think really anybody spoke English. And
okay,
so
all right.
They basically had me learn French in that way. And so when I was 5, I became fluent, and then came back to the US a year later and forgot literally all of it. But then when the next 7 years passed, my dad was like, fuck it, let's do it again. He made a bunch of friends there, and so he's like, you know what, we have some more money now. Let's get a dope-ass apartment.
What the fuck you doing in my room, man? Are you fucking serious? It's time to drink, bitch.
We're
Come on,
Like, I don't
Fucking
care
drink.
about you. I
Fucking
don't know
drink,
you.
bitch. No,
You
fucking
don't
drink.
exist
If you're in my
in
fucking
my
room,
mind,
come
bro.
on.
Who is
Just sit, man.
who is this?
Take a fucking sip, man.
Only if you kiss me right now, guys.
Oh.
Oh.
Whoa, what the fuck you... Oh, shit.
Oh no,
Take a
no.
sip. Take a
Actually
fucking sip
happened.
for
Oh,
that.
God.
So this is Ashton.
That
This
was
is his room.
completely
He was
consensual.
I'm an
guys. That
entrepreneur.
was not... Don't report. This is child safe.
You can find me
children
on
can watch
Pornhub at...
this. No, don't say that.
You can find me on Pornhub at Ashton / the guy Summers.
So this is Ashton's room, and thank you, Ashton, for letting us, use
Of
your
course, man. I'm happy to have a cameo.
Ashton, Ashton's awesome.
Especially with beer all over my pants, man.
Yeah,
Yes,
thanks
and,
for that.
And we gave him permission to do a cameo thing or whatever. So he's not a jerk.
I
Don't get the
didn't,
wrong
but,
idea.
like, you know,
Well, you
I'm
didn't-
sorry, it was
Well,
consensual.
You're
It was
just a
consensual.
bitch. So I'm gonna head out, but you guys have a good
Hey,
night.
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year,
Happy New
guys.
Year, man.
I'll see you next year.
got-
Bye, Ashton.
Damn,
Bye.
19 minutes.
Before
19 until
the new
2023, I think.
Before 2023. Well, okay. What's the exact time right now then? Like
It
40
is
or something.
11:41.
11:41. Okay, there wasn't anything personal up there on your screen, was there? Because that just
That
went
was
on the.
is a 1 liter chocolate milk, a staple of Canadian corner stores.
Okay. So,
I think we got a little carried away there. I apologize, guys.
Yeah. No, that was a. All in good fun though. So, but yes, it's just because you're such a likable guy that everyone wants in on the attention here. Wherever Alex is, everyone wants in on the party, man. We had to like lock that door, and people are like plowing through it. It's like they just want a piece of Alex.
Oh God.
Okay, so your parents. And,
Oh yeah, we're talking about yeah. Okay, so wait, where was I was talking about? Oh yeah, my parents they got the apartment in the downtown of the city, and they were like, we're gonna do this whole thing again, and my dad is gonna be the big researcher man, and we're just gonna throw both of our kids into a Catholic private school where nobody speaks English, and they're gonna relearn French.
Okay.
And that was a very formative experience for me because French people, I'm sorry if you're French and watching this, but most of you guys are fucking racist. And it's not, sorry,
Okay. No,
maybe not racist, but countryist. They hate
Countryist.
Americans.
Okay.
They,
alright.
well, they're also, a lot of them are racist, but
And-
they
and
do
you-
not like Americans.
And
so-
you being an American over there, so that was an interesting experience then.
yeah, they bullied the hell out of me. They didn't like me for who I was, but I learned French and I got dialed on learning
I like
that
you
shit.
for who you are. Just
Thank
so
you,
know,
Ryan. I appreciate it.
Just to make sure
I really
that's
appreciate
on
it.
the table. Just make sure no one ever questions that. All right. Okay.
Thank you. But I think like, you know, when you're in a hard scenario, like you're in a place where you can't really communicate with anybody and nobody likes you, you kind of have to figure out who you are, or at least who you're trying to be at one point. So I think that was like really important for me, like that whole experience of living abroad. I don't know. I think that changed a lot of like who I ended up becoming.
That's fantastic. Well, you've become a very, very wonderful young man.
Thank you.
You're still in the process of becoming. You know, one of these days you'll be a very wonderful like old man. You'll be like in your 90s, looking back.
Oh man, yeah, we'll see.
That'll be a while from now. Don't get me wrong. I don't know what the world's gonna look like. Like you probably don't remember a time when there was no internet, huh? Like you're young enough that the internet has just always been like there.
Guess, yeah. I mean, it wasn't like, I remember when I was like really young, people were still using like, we still had like a landline for a while. I still watched like VHS movies when I was like, up until I was like 7. So I don't know. When I first discovered YouTube, that was pretty wild. Like, I think I was kind of in the generation where it had always existed, but like we were the ones to like kind of see it actually get adopted into society.
Now, turnabout is fair play. Since Ashton's letting us use his room and we gave him a cameo, let's just have a look up here. I see some Breaking Bad, or is that Better Call Saul? It's one of the other.
I feel like that's a Better Call Saul shot.
Better Call Saul show. Have
'Cause-
you seen the series?
I actually just finished Better Call Saul.
Oh my gosh, I did too.
Really?
Just like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, same. Like I think literally like 2 weeks ago.
Oh my gosh,
I loved it though.
Because I heard that it had like ended, and then and then at the same time we just do this.
Yeah.
Dude, you're like my long lost twin. No, but do you want to hear my impression of Mike Ehrmantraut?
I would love to.
Okay, all right. Now they can't see me, but they can at least hear it, right? On this.
Mm-hmm.
So okay, let me see if I can do it. Like
I think my reaction will convey the visual aspect.
okay, so before they go to do something, this is in Better Call Saul. Because I mean, he's the same character in Breaking Bad, but it's different. Like in Better Call Saul.
Yeah, it is very different.
It's different. Better Call Saul. Before they go to do something dangerous or whatever, he says this. He's like, "There are a lot of ways that this could go south."
Yo, that was so. Okay, the voice is on point. What?
Hey, thank you.
You could say anything. Like, what the heck? That was so good.
Thank you. And then after they're done doing whatever it was, this is what he says. He says, "There are a lot of ways that could have gone south."
That's like the entire Better Call Saul series
You kinda
right there.
summed up, right?
Yeah. Well said. Mike was definitely the best part of that show. Like,
oh yeah.
yeah, people say like I loved Gus in Breaking Bad. Gus was great in Better Call Saul, but Mike was better in my opinion.
Oh yeah, he's a complex character.
Mm-hmm.
But, like he was a police officer, and do you remember the part where they were like in the desert? But there's like a flashback to that they didn't actually show when they first showed them in the desert. They had the $100,000 or however much.
Yeah.
It was, you know. Jimmy, Saul, whatever, you know, asks him, he's like, if you could go back in time, if you had a time machine, where would you go, and whatever else, you know. And then he finally got out of him, he's like, I would go back to such and such date, and he's like, no, I would go back to this date. And he's like, why, what's that? And he's like, that was the day I took my first bribe. You know what I mean? Because he would want to go back and do it again, because his son was a cop too, and his son wasn't a dirty cop. His son was like a good cop.
Yeah,
a solid
it's
cop.
insinuated that like him being a dirty cop was the way that his son died, inadvertently.
Inadvertently, yeah.
Yeah, that seems actually really interesting because I think they come back to it because Mike asks Walt the same question when they're like, you know, about to pull the whole vacuum thing and they're chilling in that basement, and then it happens again when I don't know if it was Mike or Jesse, but there's a scene where they talk about that same thing. And Jesse asked Mike, if you were in my position, like, what would you go back and change? And he said, I would move back to Alaska. And he says it in a way that you just know he's, like, thought about this. And he just, like, if he could do it over again, he would have just gotten the fuck out of Albuquerque, gotten the fuck out of wherever anything bad happened. He just needed to escape. Which I don't know. I thought that was really cool.
No, it is really cool. It's a really well-written show. And Mike is one of the best characters. I mean, they're all so good, though, and they're all so complex, and you get the character development going in all of them. But with Mike, because he's a man, on the one hand, he's a man of few words, but he's also a man where, like, you can read a lot into, you can kind of put yourself in his shoes in a way, you know what I mean? Yeah, Mike Ehrmantraut, he's always pretty serious. Does he ever laugh? I guess he probably does in a couple scenes.
I think he might.
He might just kind of like go, or something like that, you know? But not like a good hearty laugh.
Did you know that the actor for Kaylee was actually like the 4 different people or something?
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like never the same girl. Like,
That's funny. You know, in Full House, are you old enough to even remember that show?
I don't know. I can't even remember. I don't know. I'm sorry.
Well, in a lot of the ones where there's like babies and stuff, a lot of times they'll use actors that have a twin, so that because the amount of filming and stuff that's involved, if they know they're going to be growing up in it, then they can, like, you know, because for children they have a lot of going on and not as high of a attention span and stuff. So if they have both twins playing, so it's like Mary and Ashley Kate Olsen were the names of the girls that played in Full House, like from babies, and then the Full House went on for a number of seasons, and so they grew up in, you know, as actors or actresses, or whatever.
Okay, that's interesting.
Isn't that kind of weird though?
Yeah, that is kind of weird.
Because I mean, because you don't really give your consent per se as like as a baby, but
Yeah. No, the whole baby acting thing is weird. Because I guess it extends to even like super young children. They don't actually get the money. Like up until you're like 18, like
oh yeah,
they just give it to the parents.
well, there have been some child actors where like their parents totally screwed them over, just like spend all the money because they have like the right to it or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that happened with see, I'm going back to all these like old old references like the 80s and stuff, but like Different Strokes. Have you ever heard of a show called Different Strokes?
I think I have, yeah.
Okay, are you just saying that to make me feel better?
I think I've heard of this saying different strokes for different folks. So
Okay.
does it come from that?
No, well, it was named after that.
Oh, okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
But
yeah.
there was like a kid named Arnold who would always say like his older brother was named Willis, so he'd always be like, "What you talking about, Willis?"
Oh, I've heard that. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
so
yeah.
you've heard that part.
Yeah.
That part is more famous than the show itself. That line from the show.
That's funny.
You know, you're probably going to film something one of these days that just has like this lasting line that all the kids are going to be saying out there on the street, right?
That would be
They'll just
awesome.
like, yeah, I could see that happening.
Ideally, I honestly like if I ever do create like a television show like that, I don't want to be like the center focus of it. Like I would want to be like some like casual person on the credits that like, you know, how like had the creative vision but like wasn't the type of person that like people would want to talk to on the street and be like, "Yo, let me get a picture." I would hate
You
that.
don't want the show to be about you.
No.
Like when
Well,
you-
no, like obviously not the actor. I can't act.
No. Well, yeah.
But, like
but-
if I were to do something like that where like there was like some saying that resulted from it that like transcended eons, I wouldn't want people to be like, "Oh, you're this saying guy," you know.
Well, what I mean is like Shakespeare is almost more about Shakespeare than about like the individual plays. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because
that's
it's-
fair.
Yeah. So you don't want to be like, "Oh, that's an Alex Garrett show," or whatever. But I mean,
Well, I could if they were talking about it in like the creative sense. Like I want to be recognized for my work and not recognized as a person. You know, if somebody is like, "I love your work. I love the way that you use a camera," I would be like, "Yeah, that's awesome." But I don't want to be like necessarily a celebrity because I think that's different. You know, celebrities, it's like, oh, if you say the wrong thing, like nobody likes you anymore, and you have to like look a certain way, and like, oh, nobody likes your mustache now. Like you got to shave it. So like, I don't know, stuff like that. I don't fuck with that.
Mm-hmm. So you don't want to be the subject of. I get what you're saying. I get what you're
Like
saying.
I think my art should be appreciated for itself, and it should have nothing to do with who I am as a person. I can be the one to explain it, but if if my art comes between my life in a way that is like, I don't know, problematic, I would stop. Like
It's kind of like how Gus Fring, right? His chicken should be appreciated on its own merits, not for the fact that he's a meth
Yeah.
super lord or something.
Well, I think like a lot of these people, like you, if you saw Mike on the street, you'd be like, "Yo, you're Mike." But you like, I don't think a lot of people know a lot about the actor. I don't even know his name. Like, I don't think a lot of people would be like, "Oh, let me follow this guy around and I'm obsessed with him." So like, I'd be okay with like being something on that level, I guess. I don't know. Maybe I'm talking out of my ass. I'm sure people do. Like,
How would you react if you ever got like this fan base of like okay, let's say that you became like, you know, really famous and everything else, and you went on like the Tonight Show and you did the circuit and whatever, talking about some movie, and it could even just be like a Sundance movie or something, you know, something that got like attention. Oh, have you ever thought of doing a movie for like Sundance, like at some point down the line?
yeah, when I was in 5th grade, the first movie I tried to make, I was like, "Yeah, we're gonna apply this to Sundance and we're gonna win."
Nice, think big.
I submitted to one, actually the only film festival I've submitted to. Well, actually, okay, I got rejected from one film festival, but the only other film festival I submitted to was with Charles, and we won first place.
Oh,
So-
wait, where was that at?
It was the Utah High School Film Festival
And you won first place.
in the music video category.
That is awesome. Oh,
For Move On.
okay, and that's on your YouTube.
Yeah,
Where is
let's
it?
check. I don't know, actually.
Okay.
It's definitely on Charles's YouTube. Actually, if it's not, it should be.
I watched one video of yours that's on your YouTube where, yeah, at one point you told the audience to shut up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but
That one I got a
worked.
little bit heated, honestly, because I was
I liked
tired
it.
of people telling me what to think.
I liked it, dude. Like I really appreciate you're like, I know you're saying, you know, blah 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 blah. Then
Yeah,
shut
it
up.
is. Yo, guys, run it up. This is the best video in Utah.
There we go. Right there, you heard it here.
You will never see a better video in this state ever.
One first
Period.
place.
Yep.
One
First
place.
video ever.
Mhm. So, what would you do if, let's say, you went to Sundance, and you got like, you know, a little bit of fame and some, you know, bigger interviews than this one, and let's say that you got like a following of like obsessed teen girls or something like that, or whatever. Like, how would you deal with that?
I would move.
I
don't know.
You would move,
Dude,
where,
I
though?
couldn't
'Cause
stand that. I don't know. Like, I don't want... That's the thing that I'm scared about. Like, I always want real friends. Like, I think that is, like, honestly the most important thing to me. And if I was, like, in a place where people were, like... If there was any hint of them using me, I just couldn't do it. If there was, like, any kind of, like predication on a relationship where it was like you have money or you have status and I am only hanging out with you because of that status or fame, and if I had any inclination of that, I wouldn't be able to get it out of my mind, and I would just be so scared of that all the time. And I guess the reverse of that is that I'm scared of abandonment. If somebody thinks like, oh, you're not good enough for this thing, I'm also scared of that. And so I guess there's like the two sides of it.
I appreciate that vulnerability, man. That's awesome.
Like
Fear of abandonment. Like, I think we all kind of.
I think everyone does. Like, I'm not saying that I have like an extreme. Like, it's not like a problem for me, but I think it goes to the other side where it's like if I believe that people are only friends with me because I have like a certain quality that they're trying to exploit, then I don't. You know, it's the same thing, because if I were to lose that quality, then they would have no reason to be friends with me. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So I mean, it's always it's interesting. Like people are complicated. Like they're very complicated, because everyone on the one hand has like their best side, then everyone has like their worst side. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Like everyone,
It's subjective, but yeah.
I mean, and in some cases, people have very, very good sides and not such bad sides, and in some cases it's unfortunately the opposite. But the point is, though, that like everyone has like different sides, you know what I mean? Where like the golden rule, do unto others as you'd have them do unto you, right? You don't even have to be religious or anything to just appreciate that just kind of makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, because if people get so caught up in like just what benefits them or what, you know, whatever, then, and they can't put themselves in other people's shoes very easily, then they're really missing out, because they're just focusing on themselves at the end of the day. And at the end of their life, when they're laying on their deathbed, they're not going to have those like really deep, you know, connections that really matter, you know what I mean?
That is a really good point. I don't know, I kind of have a problem with the golden rule, though, because
Okay, go ahead.
what you like is not necessarily what other people like.
No, right.
You know, and I think it's like there's something missing in that way.
You
like,
have to say like the equivalent, you know what I mean?
yeah, right.
Yeah. Because I mean, yeah, everyone's different, but it's kind of like the basic general idea, though, of like if you don't want to be hurt, then you should appreciate why other people don't want to be hurt, right? You know?
Yeah, totally.
And so it's like I heard this story where like some police officer recently gave like a dog crap sandwich to like a homeless person as like a joke or something. Yeah, isn't that awful? And like he thought it was just a prank or something.
Yeah, that's so funny. That's the most funny thing I've ever heard. Like,
Right. Yeah.
why?
I mean, how messed up is that, right?
That's really fucked up.
right.
Why?
But I mean, if someone's
Oh my
following
God.
the golden rule, then you can understand that. Like, I mean, there's certain common sense things that most people, you know, fall within a range. of like no one wants a dog crap sandwich, right? He didn't give that to him because he thought that he wanted it, right? So it's like the spirit of the golden rule was violated.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I guess this might be me speaking very like cynically and nihilistically. Oh,
is
look
this
at that?
Oh,
it's the new year.
1,
2,
1.
2023.
Happy New Year, 2023.
This means so much.
This means that our interviews
Jesus
lasted.
Christ was born.
This means our interview lasted a whole year. And no, I'm just kidding. I told you I wasn't very good at math, right? Is that okay that we're doing this interview to like ring in the new year? So like, Happy New Year.
I think it only matters because other people think it does. I don't give a shit about this.
Are they I hope that wasn't just like some practice or something. But wait, will you check your phone to see what?
Oh yeah,
time
I
it
think
is?
they're practicing.
And we're thinking they're trying to just trick us. Probably
It is 12.
It is 12 o'clock. It's 2023.
Let's go.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
So to you, it's just another day, though, huh?
Mm-hmm.
But it is 2023, though.
It is 2023. I don't really know what that means other than like when I look at the clock, I'm like, yeah, that's what.
Well, let's do a New Year's fist bump, so I can be like, it's on camera too. The first fist bump of Alex Garrett's New Year was with me. Let there be no mistake.
Yeah, that's how we have proof too.
And we have proof because they can hear them. We could totally do some subterfuge thing where we're like adding in like some like sound effects or something because you're a video editor guy, right? Are they gonna really know that we didn't just fake that?
That's true. Actually, we could totally. I could totally fake that if I wanted to.
Yes,
but I didn't want to.
Yes,
this is genuine.
He didn't.
Actually, no. We could prove it. If we, I'm not
yes.
going to, but we could bring up something that is current that just came out, and we could watch it.
Yeah, I don't like some news story or something that they couldn't have possibly.
They would. How could you stop that? I can't predict the future, so.
I wanted to ask you though, if are you okay on time for just a little bit?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, okay. About your like early childhood, you said that you knew Charles from 5th grade.
Mm-hmm.
What was your life like up to the pre-Charles era?
The pre-Charles era. Well, I told you about how I was in France when I was 5. Before that, I went to the Avenues preschool. Don't really remember a whole lot about that experience, but it was preschool. I had some friends. Yeah, it was fun. Then I went to Ensign Elementary, which was a very Mormon elementary school, which was interesting because it was in the Avenues, which I think now is much less Mormon. But I was raised very not Mormon. My parents, they raised me to be, like, they taught me about God. They told me if I wanted to believe in God, I could. For a while I did. I decided I didn't want to.
Were they more like secular humanists, kind of?
I would say my parents are atheists.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think my mom she is spiritual. She goes to the Unitarian Church, which is, I guess it's not, they don't really like believe in any organized form of religion, but it is a way of like spiritually expressing yourself. My dad is not really religious at all. So they left it up to my interpretation. They're like, look, we'll teach you about it. Here's this, here's that. But I didn't like have any formal like Bible education like these other kids had. And so like I'd be like sitting at the lunch table and they'd be like, Alex, where did your dad go on his mission? And I'd be like, Tonga. Because I thought that Peace Corps was the same as a mission. Because my dad did Peace Corps. And so, I don't know. I guess I was, like, confused. And that was, like, I guess my introduction to the LDS Church. Which was, I guess, not exactly positive because I was the fish out of water. But,
and that's where you developed your resistance to the golden rule. Because you're like, they might want to be asked.
yeah, exactly, yeah.
They might want to be asked where their dad went on their mission, but
yeah,
like they have assumptions and stuff, right? Like, yeah. I mean, you're right insofar as we can't just make assumptions about what other people, want if they want the same thing as us, right? So, are they? Are they doing it again?
Wait, is it like the first minute or something? Like.
Wait, it's 12
that was definitely Ashton had that idea. I am 100% on that.
To do it again?
Yeah.
What do you think he's trying to do?
He's describing the absurdity of the fact that we celebrate this day. We decided at this point relative to the sun that when we come back to this point again, we're gonna cheer.
Right, although
What?
although actually we're not at the same point because the sun is also moving So as we're moving around the sun, we are leaving behind the point we were a year ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's more like a spiral kind of thing, you know?
Spiral on what, though? The universe is hypothetically infinite. What is a point? There's no such thing as space.
Ooh.
And therefore, the point that we have determined relative to the sun will always stay the same.
Checkmate. Checkmate. It's all the theory of relativity, right?
Yeah. I don't understand it. I don't even know if what I said is canon, but...
Although, where we are relative to other galaxies would be different, right? Or where we are relative
Yeah,
to...
for sure.
Hey, we got some cameo time going on here. Hey. Oh, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
We got the whole...
There he is.
What?
What you guys been up to?
Hey, how you doing? Yeah, no, we do the countdown too, yeah. There's some dance moves going on here.
I missed the countdown. What?
You missed New Year's.
Oh, no.
No, we didn't miss it.
God
We did the
damn it.
countdown.
Gosh
Hey, the
darn.
grind don't stop. I got it.
Oh, I hate it. Oh, I can't believe I missed it, man. God dang it. Oh, thank you. I love you too, Ashton. Was it you? You were the one that started counting again, right?
I love you, Ashton. I love you very much. Thank you.
Oh, thanks for coming.
And I love you.
I love you too, Ryan.
Thank you. Starting the new year with lots of love.
Exactly. My New Year's resolution is to love.
That was kind of awesome.
Yeah.
They'll just come in. They got the music going and stuff too. Because they're like,
I love Ashton. Ashton brings a parade wherever he goes.
yeah, he just draws it in.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. That was a lot of fun. But about like your, I don't know, like what, your childhood and everything, and like what else is there that you look back on it, or that you look at currently, or whatever, doesn't have to be from your past, but that, like, what defines Alex Garrett?
Bro, I'm not that interesting. I can't even. Fuck. What defines me?
You can take your time.
I would have to say, at the core of my I guess like my way. That's like the best way to describe my way, is just like my way of thinking, like my philosophy about the world. That's kind of what like allows every decision I make to exist. And because of that, I'm a deeply philosophical person, and I believe that.
So we need to have more discussion. We've talked about consciousness.
Yeah.
I love that.
Well, I think a lot of people are the same way. You know, like a lot of people, like who they are is the way that they think. You know, like a lot of people are like, I think communism is the way to be. That is a part of my identity. I'm going to spread that. If you don't believe in communism, you are rejecting my identity, and therefore I hate you, right? And so I think just like that. Sorry, that's a bad segue. But people think that way. People think in a variety of ways where their way of thinking is their identity. And I am one of those people. And I think for me, because I am not religious, I'm forced to think of things in a very, cynical and logical way.
Okay, yeah.
And I don't have
smart. I've told you that before.
Thank you. You're really smart too. I love talking to you.
I was just fishing for you to tell me that I'm smart. That's why I told you. No, you are really smart. Yeah.
But like I don't have
talking
like
to you, too.
a guidance thing. I don't have a Bible to live by. Like I don't have something that tells me like this is the right answer, these are the wrong answers, and I guess I have to find that for myself. And I think that is what has made me myself. That's like I guess that's my best answer to that question. I don't know. Like I think at the core of any human being is the way that they think about the world, the way that they perceive the world, the way that they react to situations, the way that they interact with others. And I think that all comes down to, what they believe in. And a lot of people will say that what they believe in is what they know. And a lot of people will say that what they know is, they don't know anything. I think I'm one of those people.
That was Socrates. Did you know that? Yeah. Well,
It was also Descartes, in a way, right? Because Descartes was like, I think, therefore I am, right?
Right. But Socrates would say that he didn't know anything.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah, Socrates was like, I don't know anything, and Descartes built off of that was like, I think, therefore I am.
Yeah, so he's like, I know
Yeah.
that much.
Yeah. I live by that, though. I think, I like to think of, philosophy as, I don't know if you want to call it like an onion or a pyramid, but basically layers on what you accept as true. And on the bottom level, you have, like, I think, therefore I am, right? Like, I'm thinking right now, something's gotta fucking exist, right? I'm thinking. And you go up when you start to accept things, right? So you can say, well, maybe I can accept that what I see is true. Maybe I can accept that, like, all of my senses are true. I know they're flawed, right? I know that my eyes can only perceive, like, a finite spectrum of light, and my ears can only hear a finite spectrum of sound, but I can make assumptions that what I'm hearing and seeing is based off of something tangible. And from that, I can make assumptions that, you know, I can infer that you are real because I see and hear you and stuff like that. And I think it ultimately comes back to a selfish perspective that I am the only person that exists. Everybody else is just a figment of my imagination.
And you don't even know that you're a person. You just know
Yeah,
that you exist.
I guess I don't. I can't even say that me acknowledging your existence is on the same level as me acknowledging my existence. I don't know. It's like the moment you start thinking about this, it all kind of collapses in on itself. But it is a very, like, nihilism in that way is a very selfish thing, because, you know, you're like, nothing matters, you know, nothing in this universe really has any significance, and so if all I know is that I exist, then therefore I am the only thing. Like, my sentience, my perception is the only valid thing that exists in this universe. And that is such a dark way to think. That'll make you sad. That'll make you never want to do anything. That'll be like, why do I even care about, like, being around people if I'm the only, everyone else is an NPC, you know?
It's hope.
Right.
It's
But
hope
you got,
that
you know,
I'm
you
real.
have to have some, you have to have some emotion that ties you down. Like, a lot of people become hedonists because they're like, look, I live for happiness. But I don't think that that's all there is. I think you need to just live for whatever the fuck you want in the moment. I don't think you need necessarily a rigid framework for what allows you to perceive the world in the way that you want to.
And this is where this kind of ties into what I was saying about the golden rule, though. Okay, just hear me out. Hear me out. Because, like, if you, like, oh, I don't have anything to live for, and I mean, how many people have, like, committed suicide because they're like that? There's nothing to live for. But the thing is, if you think about the fact, there are people out there that are suffering. There are children that are suffering, being abused, all this stuff. If you can do something that alleviates, that makes someone else happy as well, and then you can rejoice together in that happiness, you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like...
It's like the most incredible thing. Like,
yeah.
Nothing... But that's the thing. Like, it makes you feel so good. It makes you feel like you are contributing. And I think that's what it comes down to, is that we're inherently selfish. There is no selfless act. When you give to charity, you're giving because it makes you feel good. And even if it doesn't make you feel good, there is a real reason for why you are doing it, and that reason is for yourself. Because if you are the only consciousness that you can process, how could it be possible that you could do something that is not for yourself? Have you ever committed an act that you know was expressly bad for yourself? If you allow yourself to be tortured for the sake of another, that is the same as saying, I could not live with myself if I allowed them to be tortured instead of myself.
Right.
You can expose the flaws in my thing. I would love to hear that, but from my understanding, that makes sense. I don't know.
No. To me, it comes down to the whole idea that we talked about before of, like, we don't know what we don't know, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And so it's like, if we didn't know that oxygen existed, okay, then we would think that to build a fire, all you needed was heat and fuel, right? Because we didn't know that oxygen existed. Now, maybe some chemists could say, oh, well, there is actually a way to start a fire without, like, you know, oxygen or something. But the point that I'm making, though, is that it would be easy to not know that oxygen exists, right? Because we're like, yeah, there's air, but, like, that's everywhere, so we just take for granted that air is a thing, right? And so we're like, someone could think, oh, yeah, if you can start a fire on Earth, then you could start a fire on the moon. Yeah, people might assume that if they didn't know that air was actually, like, part of, like the air that we just take for granted around us. If they didn't know that it contained this molecule called oxygen, and that oxygen was necessary.
Well, actually, no, molecule. You're right. Sorry, it's O2. Yeah, I'm sorry.
You know, you're
and he just stops talking.
No. You were correct. Actually, in 2022, it was considered an atom, but now it's considered a molecule.
Can we come in?
Yes.
Yeah, yes.
Come in.
Hola, ¿qué tal?
Are you still doing the interview?
Yeah. But
Probably
you
for
are now
just, like,
part
a
of the
little bit
interview.
Would it be okay if we did a quick cameo?
Yeah, absolutely.
Look.
You'd be welcome. Oh my gosh, it's Jerem.
my God.
So this is Jerem, singer of Liddy Syfe,
Yes.
and basically
love Jerem.
musical like personality in the whole Salt Lake
And-
City area.
And in fact, Jerem was on American Idol. Fun fact. Right,
Were you
Jerem?
really?
Yep.
Oh,
awesome.
shred. Oh my goodness.
And he's also featured in one of my interviews.
I gotta pee.
Oh, nice.
I had
So-
done an interview with Brian.
Boom!
I'm in one
oh
of
my
his
gosh.
interviews too.
See, yes, you are. In fact, if you ever want your solo interview,
Really?
yeah, absolutely. You kidding me, man? You're awesome.
I mean, I'd have a lot to say. I feel like.
what? Hey, we could go on forever, man. We could make it like
Yeah.
a 24-hour long interview, like, and then some.
Yeah.
Jerem, how are you doing?
Fantastic.
Now, since Jerem is a vegan,
Forgot about my Taco Bell.
since Jerem is a vegan, I'm gonna give him a chance to
Oh.
like, what is your? You've got until Alex gets out of the restroom. You have a chance to make your strongest case for veganism. Go.
Animals are sentient and they don't like to be harmed, so why harm them?
Well, there we go. Oh my gosh, that totally goes with what Alex and I were just talking about. Actually, we we were seriously just talking about like philosophically. Alex, can you hear us?
No.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
He was just talking about how animals are sentient, and so wait, he was sitting there. That's the interview chair.
Oh, balls.
So, yeah. He was talking about like I asked him to say something about veganism.
Yeah.
He's like, animals are sentient, so why harm them? And I'm like, that's similar to what we were just talking about, right? About like,
That's actually
why
that's
would you?
facts. That's a whole
like,
other thing.
Why would you want to harm? It's
Dude,
similar.
I
though,
think
to-
about this every day. This fucks me up so much.
but it's like the golden
Like
rule.
I'm sorry. I fucking love meat so much. Like it is a part of who I am. Making steak is one of my passions.
Bro, this is why we gotta get
But
lab grown meat going
It's
on.
like it's fucked up.
Like the steak private.
Yes, I literally have like
Alex
a
has
story.
a private Snapchat story dedicated to steak
Yeah.
cooking.
Wait, yeah. How do I
Seriously.
not know this?
It's
Do you wanna be
amazing.
on? I'll add you to it right now.
Yeah,
You should
I
add
mean,
him to it. It's rich.
yeah.
I look at it all the time.
It's rich.
Oh my gosh.
Like, this is why we need lab grown meat.
I would be down for some lab grown meat. If you can get that like Wagyu fat distribution from a lab, I would be all for it. I agree with you, Jerome. Like the shit we do to animals is brutal and fucked up. I can't believe that it's allowed.
Yeah, I mean, we should at the very least
Like-
regulate the industry better or something.
We totally can, and we totally like we just don't, and it's so weird. And I think a lot of people try to blame the consumer, but I think a lot of it is government regulation and the businesses themselves, because people are fucking the consumers are greedy, you know. They're gonna buy the cheapest meat, they're gonna buy the cheapest eggs. You know, you can't really stop that.
Well,
That's so true.
That's capitalism, like
you know what too though about like a lot of farmers today, like they come from farms that like were owned by their great grandpa or something like that. You know what I mean? Like they or like people in general that are just like big meat eaters, like Mr. Steak story over here. But they in order for them to say that the way animals are treated is bad, they would have to say grandpa was bad. You know what I mean? Like they would have to say great grandpa was bad. Like
Yeah.
and they're not gonna do that.
well, you can keep going back though, because I mean, if you're gonna say grandpa's bad, great grandpa's bad, you're gonna say, I guess like Adam and Eve, they hunted, the cavemen hunted. That was just part of their way of survival. The reason why we have been able to develop into the people we are today is because we've been able to cook meat, right? Everyone before was like eating these unfolded proteins that didn't give them shit. We're like, oh, now we have fire. We put the meat on the fire, unfold the protein, get nutrition, brain develop. Here we are today.
Jerem and
Can
I,
we like say that's bad? Like,
Yeah. Jerem and I were actually talking earlier today about whether or not it's ethical to kill predators, like to kill lions and stuff, knowing that they're going to go out and kill. But then we were talking about the ethics of if we say it's okay to kill them because we know they're going to kill, throughout the course of their life, a
about
whole bunch
this?
of animals. Then does that make it okay to kill humans? And then that gets into really, really dangerous territory. Okay.
How about
Quinn.
this? What if humans are just the top of the food chain? And like it's ethical for us to kill anything. You know what I mean?
that's a good point.
That
But we
being
never
said,
thought about
that's
how
not
much
about that's
factory farming we
not
get.
considering like the state that we have gotten to with like
Yeah,
global
yeah.
with like global warming
We
and
don't
like
hunt anymore.
yeah, we don't we just like
We spawn kill.
We are like completely affecting the state of like planet Earth. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So it's different, but
But here's the thing: if we weren't the top of the food chain, would we have that same view?
Oh.
No, we wouldn't. We'd be scared as shit. All the other animals are like running away from us. Like yesterday, I was walking my dog. There were a bunch of birds chirping in a bush. I walked by. They all stopped chirping. I was like, "Fuck! Like, these motherfuckers are traumatized. Someone hurt these birds.
Oh,
Like,
sad.
I don't know. I
Okay.
think it's messed up."
Okay, since this is Alex's interview, I want you both to say 2 things that you love about Alex.
oh man, Alex got me to do things that put me out of my comfort zone that I wasn't willing to do before.
Okay.
Seriously.
Yeah.
There were a lot of things that I've done with Alex that I wasn't quite willing to do, and it just took a little bit of pushing to get me to do something, and it ended up being one of the most fun things I've ever done.
Okay, there's Alex for you. Yeah.
And I mean, that's it. Like,
That,
yeah.
Okay.
and he's a real one.
that he is.
On top.
That he is. Okay, Jerem, 2 things you love
Yo.
about Alex.
Alex is a banger feller.
Yeah.
Alex is the life of a party.
Alex taught me how to skate.
Yeah.
Sorry, I interrupted.
No.
You already knew how to skate.
Well, but I skated with him in the pandemic when I hated my life.
Yeah.
That was so fun.
It was really fun.
That's like what got me into it. That was awesome.
I'm taking off. I don't want to
Oh
interrupt.
no,
but I
you're
wanna
not
say
interrupting.
bye.
This is just a cameo, man.
Really good to see you.
Hey,
Nice
good
to
seeing
meet
you. Good
This
seeing
is
you.
a nice to see you.
Henry, I will see you
Somebody
till the
candy
summer.
dog.
Huh?
I will see you till the summer.
I know,
don't
bro.
think, but
Well,
I
I'll
love
text you and
love
we'll
you.
talk.
Happy New Year.
Namaste.
Happy New Year.
Namaste, dog.
Okay, so that was your first one. Do you have another one?
What? Oh, so always a good conversation. But the one thing I would like to mention is Alex's hair. He's always got that
Whoa.
boy band.
I need to
sexy
cut my hair.
boy
I'm actually getting
He
tired of
loves
this
the
shit.
DiCaprio hairstyle.
I can't see anymore.
great hair.
I like. It's also thinning out. Like, love it while it lasts.
Dude, mine's
It's
thinning
going
out too,
away.
guys, 'cause I'm old as fuck, and my hairline's receding too.
I'm gonna say goodbye.
Okay.
Thank you for letting me be in your interview.
Absolutely, man.
And it would be really cool to do my own someday. Potentially.
And by the way, you're competing with Charles now because Charles has been in had 3 cameos, I think.
He's had 3
two cameos, and so now you have a cameo.
Okay, so I need
And
to get
so
up to Charles.
you need to get up. I'm saying. Yeah.
Sounds good. Peace
Alright.
out, Ryan. Peace out, Ryan's YouTube channel.
Alright,
Thanks for having me.
peace.
Quit in the
See you
DMs.
guys. You're not gonna take the guitar with you?
Oh, she did. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't want to forget that. Can't ring in the new year without that. That was fun.
This has been an interesting interview.
No, this is gonna be fun to watch.
I've been entertained.
Okay, so now I made them say 2 things they love about Alex, so I better come up with 2 things that I love about Alex.
This is killing me.
Because Alex is just too humble. Okay, that's number 1. Is I love the fact that Alex is like a super humble guy.
Dude, I'm so arrogant.
He's always and see that's his humility. He'll call himself arrogant when he's not. That is
I know
that's
I'm
the
arrogant.
Height, that's the height of humility right there. It's just he's arrogant, but in a humble way. In a humble way, he brings.
That's actually better than being humble in an arrogant way. I don't fake humility, I guess. If you fake humility, you gotta stop, man.
right.
Everyone sees through that.
And then also, well, okay. I'm not going to count that one because I have 2 other ones. Okay. Number 1, really, really smart and fun to talk to and have philosophical discussions with and just an all-around cool, good guy. And then number 2, he has a good heart.
Thank you.
I love the fact that Alex is
I really appreciate that means so much because we don't our beliefs contradict each other so much, and so the fact that you think I have a good heart means so much.
Yeah, I do.
I love that. Thank you.
No, I definitely do. And you light up a room too. Like when you come into it, like you're always.
Thank you.
You're just like nice to everybody, and you're just like, yeah, you just you don't have a mean bone in your body.
Thank you.
You're just a good person with a good heart.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, love you, man.
I love you too.
Okay, so we are at 59 minutes and 18 seconds, 19 seconds, 20 seconds. Is there anything else you'd like to say here before we wrap up the interview?
Not God bless America, honestly, but I think everybody just needs to like take a moment to realize the people in their lives and appreciate them. Honestly, I don't think people do that enough. You know.
Yeah.
I don't think people, you know, I think people get focused on their careers, they get focused on their opinions, but they lose focus from what's right in front of them. They don't live in the moment. So I know I'm just some fucking kid talking out of my ass, but if you're watching this right now and you've gotten this fucking far, the one thing I want you to take away is that I need you to love your family, I need you to love your friends, and I need you to love the present right now. And don't forget that.
Live in the present.
Yeah.
And it's now 2023. And even though that, you know, might not mean anything, you still get to do your thing. You still get to, you know, experience. You get to change what you write from 2022 to 2023. And it's more about, I think it's more about the shared experience of like starting things over, changing things that you want to change, having those resolutions. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and then just kind of like everyone has a moment of happiness where they're kind of supportive of each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, I guess, I mean, if New Year's is something that is important to you, make a good ass resolution, you know, like
bring people together.
Make that hype count.
Yeah. And you know what? It doesn't really have to be totally logical, the fact that Earth went around the sun. That doesn't have to be like a logical reason, because if you think about it, how many things are logical in life, right? It's like when you sit down to eat, how often do we base what we eat on logic?
Dude, okay, that's what's fucked up about me. I can't like not think like that.
Yeah.
That's my issue. Like, if you ask me to like think about something emotionally, I will if I get carried away, but I can't if I'm actually thinking about it.
We got a whole bunch of people going to the bathroom.
But
It's just me.
Man?
anyways,
Yeah.
to the viewers
Plus
of this
whoever
video,
went.
love yourself, love your people. This has been an amazing interview, Ryan. Thank you for our time together.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Noah Hinton. It's an amazing cameo.
So expect big things from this guy right here. All right, fist bump.
Big things always coming.
Yeah, peace
He's
out.
in the genetic.